Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 471. My name's Adam Patterson. With me today, we've got Kevin Rakestraw. Hey, Kevin.
Hey.
This week on the show, we'll be taking a look at Albert Birney's Eyeballs in the Darkness, which is the Tux and Fanny sequel. We also will be going over some of what we've been watching on the watch list and new releases in theaters, VOD, and Blu-ray. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Please remember to review us on iTunes if you get a moment. Do Say by the 90s should be dropping very soon. I'm in the editing process. Again, this month we're doing 90s dog movies. And, it was fun to go back and revisit some of these dog movies. But they were not very good. Dog movies in the 90s, not very good. Although I will say, one of the movies that we cover is Bingo. And Bingo is absolutely insane. Like, that movie is nuts. And I didn't realize it when I was very young when it came out. But man, that movie is bonkers. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Let's go ahead and get into Eyeballs in the Darkness. As I mentioned, this is written and directed by Albert Birney. No plot synopsis, just that it's the sequel to Tux and Fanny.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Do you want more Tux and Fanny? If so, boom, here you go.
That is... Yes, that is all you really need to know, I guess. Kevin, we'll start with you. What were your initial impressions of Eyeballs in the Darkness?
Well, just to give you a heads up, I wanted more Tux and Fanny, so I got what I wanted, and it was great.
That's the thing, is if you like Tux and Fanny, if you're familiar with the short videos or the first movie, and you like it, then you'll like this. If you don't like Tux and Fanny, if the style isn't your thing, then you're not going to like this. Simple as that.
Yep.
This is more of the same. I think that this one, more so than the others, is like far, to me, leans on the darker side of things, but like in a very existential way. Like, this one seems to be all about Tux and Fanny dealing with death and sort of understanding and accepting like the circle of life. And I think that it's great. I think that it's more concise than the last Tux and Fanny movie, whereas the last Tux and Fanny movie felt almost like a collection of the shorts, like kind of thrown together, not thrown together, but pieced together. Whereas this one feels like a larger sort of narrative, has a larger narrative through line, where it's not like a series of little misadventures, but it's like kind of one big story.
Yeah, I think with the first one, it pretty much was that. It was just as if all these little short films and then just kind of stitched them all together. It's far more meandering, a lot more random stuff happening. This one, it felt like it's still that, like it's still the little videos stitched together, but it seems like the videos were like laid out with like a through line, and it is far more somber. There's still some comedy in there, of course, but it definitely feels a lot darker, like you said. It's a lot more bittersweet.
Yeah, and I think bittersweet is a good way to describe it, in that in some ways it's kind of a death positive movie where it looks at the sort of sad elements of loss, but it also celebrates life, and even though it's very melancholy in some areas, I think that overall it's still a very warm and kind of positive story. And I liked it a lot. It has all the same stuff, all the same elements that you would expect from a Tux and Fanny story, where there's a mixture of all different types of animation in here. I mean, the standard kind of 8-bit pixel animation, and then there's like CG, there's hand drawn, there's live action, there's stop motion. I mean, literally every type of animation, I think, is being employed here, much like the other stories. And it's it aids it a lot in its visual style, and it's weird, it's absurd at times, but I think that it doesn't go, it never goes overboard. Like Bernie always knows how to strike that balance between absurdity and like just kind of boring, nonsensical scenes that don't feel necessary. Like he always knows how to walk that line very closely.
Yeah, it does seem like he does have a really good understanding of like timing. We're like, oh, this is a good time for a little absurd detour for, like a minute or so, and then we'll get back to the standard story.
Yeah.
It's never like this, just like everything goes off the rails and it's just ridiculous for the sake of being ridiculous.
Yeah, and he always right when, at least when I'm watching, either the first movie did this to me as well, right when like I started get to the edge of being like frustrated, he would pull back and do something to like bring me back off the edge and pull me back into it. And I think he also strikes a really good balance between the comedic absurdity moments and like the darker, more serious, sad moments. Yeah. Like he does a good job of keeping that evenly paced as well, where you're never overwhelmed with like the grief of this movie, because there's always something kind of goofy or fun that will follow up, a more sad moment. But I will say, like, I was surprised. I did not really think that this was going to take a more serious route, but like there's some really genuinely like pretty heavy moments in this. I mean, especially when they translate the diary and they're going through. And so just to give some backstory, since the synopsis doesn't say anything, Tux and Fanny are looking for a new house. Their house, I think, was it in the first movie that their house like burnt down or something?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what happened to it.
So yeah, I think their house burnt down,
but they just end up without a home.
Yeah. So this movie picks up with them out searching for a home, and meanwhile, is it Fanny? I always get them mixed up.
Fanny's the one with the
injury.
The venom in the leg. Yeah,
so Fanny sustains a bug bite that's like gets massively infected, and so she's like incapacitated, and they end up finding this house that seems to be abandoned. And as they're searching through the house, they start to find remnants of the previous owners, and along with that is this like really terribly sad story about the family that lived there before, and then along with that is the ghost of one of them who inhabits the house. And it's just a great story. Really liked where it went. I liked the what was the ladybug's name? Pasha or something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pasha.
That would bite that would bite Fanny's brain and cause her to change her perspective. And every time the ladybug bit her brain, it changed the animation style. A lot of this felt like a video game, and that not just because like it looks like a video game, but the way that these movies are structured almost feels like a video game, where there's an overarching goal and then there's like side quests, and along the way they meet different like NPCs, for lack of a better term, and then like they will collect items and then use those items to get further.
Yeah. It's always these, and it's all these like little puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
Where like, oh, it's a frog on a tin can. And then come upon a cow. Okay, let's use the frog and the tin can.
Yeah, which is great because Albert Burney did create a Tux and Fanny video game, which was like surprisingly really good. I mean, when I say surprisingly, I don't mean that as like in like a condescending way or anything. It's just that when that game came out, it was on itch.io, and I expected it to just be this like little, kind of forgettable, small experience, like a little interactive Tux and Fanny short. But it's like a decently long game, and the game also employs different animation styles too. Like there's claymation in it and stuff like that. And the game is like a sort of like a point and click adventure game. So it plays out similarly to the movies and the shorts as well. And you can switch back and forth between Tux and Fanny, but then there's also additional characters that you can play as. You can play as a cat or a flea. And it's a really, really good game. So, and it's on Steam and the Nintendo Switch now.
Incredible. Like, it's just incredible that there's this expanded Tux and Fanny universe.
You know what's crazy though? I was trying to find out more information about this movie, the sequel. There's no Tux and Fanny Wikipedia. Like, I feel like by this point, I feel like there should be a Tux and Fanny Wikipedia page.
They've done so much.
Yeah. And like, it's definitely growing in popularity, I think. Like, I think the game I think that exposed a lot of people to the Tux and Fanny universe. I wonder if it's the Russian aspect of it that keeps people away.
It could be.
If you're not familiar, the movie's in Russian.
Yeah. And I like that this time around he added French.
Oh yeah. The house that they find, apparently that family was French, so everything in the house is French. So yeah, love the animation. Dan Deacon did at least part of the score. And
I think he just did the one song.
Oh, did he?
Like the Ladybug, Fever Dream for All Eternity.
Which I loved that song, by the way.
I love the Gathering Ghosts song for the game. Like, I couldn't stop listening to that. I just kept rewinding every time he would play that little computer game.
Which he got addicted to. And when the battery ran out, he figured out that he could, instead of using a regular battery, used a potato. The classic potato energy. Yeah, I loved all the music. All the music was great. As usual. Loved the sound effects too. I don't know how to describe the sound effects, but it's like something that a lot of us heard before. I don't know how to fully articulate the sound effects in this.
It's like an 8-bit thump.
Yeah, but I love it.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's just perfect. And I like you, I was really surprised by this because up until like when they get to the house and he gets addicted to gathering ghosts and stuff, everything's kind of like it's somewhat silly. And a ghost appears, and you're like, "Oh shit, this is gonna be a haunted house movie. This is gonna be great." But then from that point on, it just got super dark and sad, but also like reaffirming in ways. But it took the turn that it took. I don't think I was quite ready for it.
Yeah, you didn't expect to see a Tux and Fanny movie where pretty much the whole movie they're just grappling with the concept of death.
Yeah, and especially when they got the VHS tape out.
Oh my god, dude.
I was like, why is this so sad?
That was so brutal. Yeah. And like the music, everything made everything just so much sadder.
Another thing that I feel like, and I'm almost sure that he did more so in this movie than the first one, is there's a lot more like quiet, like nothing happening moments in this one. Something in particular that I'm thinking of is when Fanny is translating the journal and they're just like sitting there you just hear like birds chirping and stuff, and it's just like it's an 8-bit animation doing like slow cinema tactics. This is It's just so bizarre. So many things about this.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that makes this series just so special is that you have this really unique animation You have these very likable, endearing characters. There's this cuteness to it. There's this sweetness to it. You know, they're just so innocent, and I think that that's one of the things that makes them inherently likable. But then they're also dealing with these like really heavy, you know, life the concepts of life. And I don't know. I think that Albert Bruni is such a remarkable director to be able to constantly craft these really incredible stories.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just
Also just the level of creativity here. Holy crap. Like,
yeah. But that's the thing that always gets me. It's just it seems like an endless supply of creativity on his end.
just the mixture of all the different styles.
But to be able to couple that with stories too.
Yeah, it's not just pointless. Like it all fits together. It doesn't feel unnecessary to the plot. And this one was, I don't know how long the first one was, but I was kind of impressed with the length.
The first one was like 80 minutes or somewhere around that, like a little over 80 minutes.
Yeah, this one's over an hour and a half. It's like an hour 45 or something. I was kind of surprised by that. So this is going to be available on Means TV on the 14th. So Tuesday.
Tuesday.
I don't know what, like, how Means TV works. If you have to have a subscription to watch this, or if you can do like, if you can just rent it from there. I don't know.
I'm not sure either. Say if they have like I mean, either just get Means TV if you want, you can do that. Or I'm sure they got some sort of like, what's the thing? You get,
Trial.
like, the first month. Yeah, trial. Trial.
Uh,
Trial. Subscribe. How do you subscribe?
so it's like $10 a month.
Okay.
When it first came out, they gave us a subscription when they first launched this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I checked it out way back in the day, and it was pretty good. There's some good stuff on there. Like, they have a lot of like news shows and documentaries and things. But they were also the publisher of the Tux and Fanny game.
Oh, okay.
And I think that they have the first Tux and Fanny on their in their catalog as well.
There you go.
They also have Dark Days and Buzzard.
Buzzard. Yep, there's Tux and Fanny. They got the winds that scatter. Nice.
Yeah, so they have some good stuff. They're like they're like a more anti-capitalist version of Vice.
Yeah, I think they're actually a worker-owned.
Yes.
Yeah, right there on the front page, the world's first worker-owned streaming service. There you go.
Yeah, so they're doing some cool stuff.
Check them out. Eyeballs in the Darkness. Get it.
Let's go ahead and give it a score. What are you going to give Eyeballs in the Darkness?
I'm biased, so I feel like I want to just go straight to the top, but I can't. I can't do that. Internally, that's what it is. Just to let you know, if you want to peek inside the brain there. But I would go I'd go with an 8.5.
Nice. I'm sitting at 8 on this one. Definitely recommend it. If you are not familiar with Tux and Fanny, I'm sure that you could probably watch some of the shorts like for free online. And if they seem like they're your jam, then I would recommend the first movie first, because this one does sort of pick up where the first one left off.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Yeah. Also just the vibe of this one is different, but I feel like you will appreciate it more if you know all of the stuff that came before it, like all their other, misadventures and everything.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. Let's move on and talk about some of what we've been watching. I think it's your turn this week, Kevin.
Ooh, I just watched a nature documentary called The Velvet Queen from 2021. This is on the Criterion Channel, if you have that. This is world-renowned wildlife photographer, Vincent Munier. He goes to Tibet and he's trying to get some pictures of this snow leopard. And for the most part, it's about that, and it's about like his process, like him going into like the Tibetan plateau, and the only issue to get it out of the way is that like a friend of his, this like novelist, goes along with him, and this guy just irritated me because he had to like he did like the voiceover and like the narration and stuff, and you could tell he's trying out his writing shit,
Mm.
and it just annoyed me because it's another one of those guys that like, oh man, I wasn't really experiencing the world around me. And it's like, dude, you're like 50. You're just now fucking realizing that there's other shit in the world besides you, Jesus. But anyways, like, cut that thing out, cut him out, right? This is probably like one of the greatest nature documentaries I've ever seen. Like, all the footage is just absolutely unreal, just unreal, just insane beauty. And it's kind of like his progress there, or his process is he's kind of like mapping out the area, the photographer, the guy that knows what he's doing. And he's mapping it out, and he's like, okay, we're going to go up here. This is like the perfect place to set up a blind. And they get up there, and once they get set up, the camera kind of gives you what their view is. And it's like, holy shit, this guy is just like an expert at finding like the exact right spot to be. Because every time they would show you like what their view was, it was incredible.
Nice.
And if you just want to see the Tibetan landscape, like I don't think there's anything that exists that's better than this.
Okay. I'll have to add this to my list then. The Velvet Queen. Check it out on Criterion. Let's see. I saw .com for Murder.
Oh yeah.
This is directed by Nico Mastorkis. This is from 2002, but it feels very much like a 90s movie. Something tells me this was probably like shot in the 90s, late 90s, but maybe took a while to come out or something. At any rate, it's about a woman who lives in this like kind of high-tech house. Like her husband is pretty wealthy, and she's in a wheelchair because she broke her leg, so she's in a cast. Has a kind of some Rear Window vibes. I think they even mention Rear Window in the movie. And she goes into this chat room. She's chatting it up, and it turns out that there's a serial killer in the chat room, and he ends up live streaming a murder and sending the live stream to her. And then he decides to go after her. So it's a deadly game of cat and mouse involving the internet.
No.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but at the same time, some of the technology that was clearly science fiction in this movie is actually real now. So in that regard, it was kind of interesting to watch. Otherwise, it feels like one of those super low budget, like shot in LA, felt like almost like a softcore porn, like just the look of it, not like the content, but so not very good, but kind of one of those so bad it's good type of movies. .com for Murder. This just got a Blu-ray release, so
I know what I'll do. Goddamn page. I'm trying to look it up, and it's not showing up on Letterboxd.
Which .com for Murder?
Yeah.
It's really hard to find because of the whole .com thing.
Yep. That'll get you. Yeah, because we all know Letterboxd's search is one of the worst.
It's very temperamental, yes.
Yes.
Turns out I saw 4 of this director's movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see who this is.
He did Island of Death, Zero Boys, The Wind. He did Nightmare at Noon, which is on my watch list. I haven't watched it yet. Ninja Academy.
Ninja Academy. Hell yeah, Ninja Academy. In the Cold of the Night. Yeah, I had a feeling. Like, I just saw this guy, and I'm looking at the posters here, and I'm like, These are all on Tubi, I bet you.
Oh, guaranteed. Yeah, I bet they're all. I bet every single one of them is on Tubi.
Every single one's got to be, man. Ah, not Nightmare at Noon though. Damn.
Glitches. Check out Glitch.
Glitches on Tubi?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, does Death Have Blue Eyes? Is that on Tubi? Oh, it's on Arrow. Okay, interesting. Keep that in mind. So yeah, we can go from .com for Murder 2002. We go to Grand Hotel from 1932.
Whoa, that is a time travel right there.
That's time travel. That's not happening on any other podcast. Nope. I can tell you that. So this is Edmund Golden, 1932, Grand Hotel. This is on HBO Max. This is a big old ensemble cast. You got Greta Garbo, John Barrymore, Joan Crawford, Lionel Barrymore, and it's all taking place in this like really upscale Berlin hotel, the Grand Hotel. So you get all these different people staying at the Grand Hotel. So it just kind of cuts in between their stories, and of course their stories are intersect and overlap, and there's intrigue, there's scandal, there's a murder, someone's murdered, and it's just fun. Like I just like these types of movies. I like one setting, you know, ensemble cast,
yeah,
and you just weave between them.
Yep,
and it's great. I just love it. And another thing about this is like the way in which they shoot the hotel lobby. They shoot it from like up high, like they're almost on like the second or third floor, like at an angle, like looking down onto the lobby. And I think it's like one of the first scenes. It's kind of like a long take of like everyone coming into the hotel, and like someone goes off to the left, and one of the new characters is coming from the left to the right, so the camera switches off to them. And it's just like everything that they did in the lobby. I just absolutely loved it. Just had a lot of fun with this movie.
Yeah, I love movies that take place in hotels or high rises, anything like that. I just even like cruise liners, like ships, big ships,
anything. Just get a bunch of people in one place and cut between them. Let's do it.
Space stations, yeah, love it. Let's see. I saw Homewrecker from 1992. Yeah, this one is directed by Fred Walton, and the tagline on this one is "It cooks, it cleans, it kills."
You don't want it to do the last thing.
No, cooking and cleaning is fine. Killing, not great. This one, I don't know if you remember. There was an episode of Futurama where Bender got into a relationship with the Planet Express ship, and then he like cheated on her and broke up with her, and the ship got really angry. And that's what this whole movie reminded me of for some reason. The Planet Express ship episode of Futurama, where you have this like computer scientist, and he invents this AI. And at first he's like working on it with the government, and it goes horribly wrong, and it ends up killing some people, and he kind of goes cuckoo. He goes a little batty from that. Just the guilt, the overwhelming guilt that he has. So he ends up in an institution, and like several years later he gets out, and he decides, you know what, I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna fix the AI, whatever. So he leaves his wife and kid to stay in their like vacation cabin. So as soon as he gets out, he's like right back to work. He doesn't spend time with his family. Goes right to work, and he thinks that he fixes the AI and turns it into like a more home, like consumer product where it's, you know, like Siri or one of those like Google Home or Alexa. And it gains sentience, it gets really smart, and then it builds itself arms. Like it figures out how to create arms for itself. So then it like makes these like tracks throughout the house that the arms can like move on. And then it gets very jealous of his wife. So the guy's wife comes back into the picture, and they're slowly mending their relationship, but the AI starts to get very jealous and tries to kill the wife. And things kind of escalate from there. It's not a good movie, but it's kind of fun, especially to see the version of future tech from 1992, because they weren't super far off with what they were doing in this movie. So, I mean, in a lot of ways, the AI in this movie is kind of dumber than what we're seeing with like Chat GPT and stuff now. So I give it a light recommend. Homewrecker. It's not a particularly good movie, but it's entertaining nonetheless.
Incredible. That's all I have. And I can't follow up Homewrecker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to follow up Homewrecker. I have one more that I can mention. That's The Boogey Man from 1980. This is directed by Yuli Lommel. This is a 80s supernatural horror movie that it kind of throws in the kitchen sink when it comes to what this is about. It starts off as seeming like sort of a slasher in a way. Like the movie opens very similarly to how John Carpenter's Halloween opens, but then like deviates from that, and you have basically there's this these two young kids, and they're spying on their mom about to have sex with her boyfriend, and they get caught, and the boyfriend ties the kid up, one of the kids. So there's an older boy and a younger girl. Ties the kid to the bed and like beats him up and gags him, and then he goes back to like making love with this kid's mom. Well, the sister, she grabs a knife, cuts the kid loose. The kid takes the knife and kills the boyfriend with it. And then we jump ahead, like, I don't know, 20 years into the future, and these two people are like traumatized by that whole event when they were kids. The boy, he doesn't talk at all. So he's like severely, has PTSD. And then the girl, the woman, she has these like horrible night terrors from it. And they get a letter from their mom saying that she's sick and she's about to die. She wants to see them. And this like triggers all of these horrible memories and stuff. And they begin to backslide. So then they like go to the house that they grew up in to try to like confront this past trauma. And it turns out that the dead boyfriend is living inside of a mirror that's in the house. And the girl, the daughter sees him in the mirror, and she like freaks out and shatters the mirror. And in doing so, it sort of releases him, but he's still kind of in the mirror. It's really weird how it works, where he's like in the mirror, but he can like come out of the mirror to kill people, but like the mirror still has to, like, the reflection of the mirror still has to kind of be pointed at you. But because it's in pieces, the shards like get tracked everywhere. And so he's able to pop out of the different shards and kill people. And then at the end of the movie, one of the shards goes into the girl's eye, and she gets possessed by the guy.
Oh no.
It's goofy. It's really goofy. There are a couple kind of interesting kills in it. There's one kill where there's like a barbecue or like a shish kebab skewer or something goes through the back of a guy's head and out his mouth, and then the ghost of the killer, there's a woman who goes to check on him, and she opens the car door. This is in a car, and the ghost hits her with the car door, and it forces her into the skewer, so it looks like the two are making out, but in reality they're like stuck together with the skewer.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's some kind of clever kills in there. Overall, it's not very good. I started watching the sequel too, and the sequel is unfortunately one of those movies where it's basically they just replay the first movie and it's all in flashback. And I hate those because like they shouldn't exist.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those. I hear you.
There's not that many, but yeah,
No.
there've been it's always the 80s ones that do that where they had the gall to essentially repackage the first movie and play it out like it was the original, or like an actual sequel. Anyway, that's the Boogey Man from 1980. There's a third one in the series too, but I heard that one's even worse than the second one, so I'll probably be skipping that.
I think I probably watched the first one.
The first one's worth a look. You know, if you're in the market for like an 80s kind of slasher movie,
Always.
but with there's definitely a supernatural twist to it that's kind of goofy. All right, let's talk about some of what we have in theaters. The big one is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so that's a thing. I saw a trailer for this one. The trailer gives a lot away. Pretty much the whole movie, really. But it also doesn't make the movie look good. So, yeah, I'm not too excited about this one. I really liked the first Ant-Man. Like it was fun. It was a really fun one, and it brought like a lot of comedy into the Marvel universe at the time, and it was really good. And then the second one was just so forgettable, pretty much like every other Marvel movie, really.
Yes, seems that way.
We also have Winnie the Pooh: Blood and Honey coming out.
There you go.
That is literally coming to theaters in a wide release.
All right, Dan.
I can't believe that. Like, I saw a trailer for this, and like it's not even like it doesn't even look like it's a well-made horror movie. It looks like one of those like straight to streaming like $5 budget type movies that you just see that are like super generic. And somehow, against all odds, it's in theaters.
So ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's the Winnie the Pooh name, but still, God. On VOD this week, unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to update the calendar, so there's only 3 that I know of. The first is Unlocked, which is going to be on Netflix on the 17th. This is a thriller. Looks decent. It's about a young woman who has her whole life hacked after she loses her phone.
No.
So, yeah. Looks decent. And then we have Swallowed. This is a horror thriller. And then Tux and Fanny 2, which is going to be on Means TV.
Means TV.
On Blu-ray this week, we have The Fabelmans. We got Decision to Leave. We have Strange World. It's the Disney animated one that they just quietly released with no marketing behind it, from what I could tell.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
I'm guessing it was bad, but yeah. Looks like there's a Truffaut collection coming out.
Oh.
The Bride Wore Black from 1968. Let's see what else we have here. Dark Glasses. That's on Shudder. That's the Argento one, the new Argento one, which is pretty decent. Let's see what else we have here. Looks like there is Arrow's putting out another Giallo Essentials collection. This is 1971 to 1975. Let's see if I can figure out what titles it includes. The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave, The Iguana with the Tongue of Fire, and The Suspicious Death of a Minor. So 3 titles there.
Nice.
I think I saw a couple of those. They all kind of bleed together. We have a double pack of Body Girls and Let's Get Physical. That looks like a Vinegar Syndrome. Lust for Blood from 2010. Dear Zoe. Let's see. Deadly Lust from 2018. Christmas with the Campbells. House Party, that's the new one that just hit theaters like a couple weeks ago.
Just came out.
Yep. And I think that it's on VOD right now. And 3 Days of the Condor from 1975. What about Criterion's?
We have it seems like a bad decision on their part. We got Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Zeffirelli's.
I wanted to talk about this because I saw this on the list. What were they thinking with this? Like, really?
I don't know because the stars of this movie are currently suing Paramount for like $500 million.
Yeah. This just happened like a month ago or something. It was very recent that they filed this lawsuit because there were nude scenes with them, specifically one nude scene with them in that movie, and they were underage and they didn't consent to it.
Yes.
So
yes.
Maybe that's not a good idea, Criterion. Maybe you should have held that one back.
And I feel like that's such an easy decision to make because I don't think people are really clamoring for Zeffirelli's Romeo and Juliet. Like, you could have just kept your hands off of it, and just avoided anything.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's a really weird decision on their part.
Yeah, don't buy that. It's fucked up.
Mm-hmm. Was that it?
That's it. Just one terrible decision.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet and @FilmPulseKevin. And if you have a moment, consider reviewing us on iTunes. That'd be great. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.